So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra, Kaye, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yul Brenner. I know it's been a while. Yes, still bald. He was in the DR, tanning his bald head. You know what I mean? But he is back. He was having some connection issues, and so that's why I hadn't really seen him on here. Plus, he was having a good time. So, we don't want to begrudge the man of his vacation. But nevertheless, he is here. Of course, Sunday I was not here as well because I had something to do. So it prohibited me from being here. But I am here. And nevertheless, we'll be back here for our live show at 5-ish, give or take. And what we'll talk about, I don't know. I guess we'll decide. It'll be a surprise to you. How about that? But I should also say that the purpose of the Demetra Kaye Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. So I like to say welcome to everybody. Of course, we are not live. I want to repeat that we are not live because sometimes as I'm watching, they're like, "Hey, you're not seeing my comments." We're not live, but we'll be live later. Today, we're going to talk about that of Mr. Jonathan Majors. Of course, if you guys have not heard, he was found guilty, and I'll break that all down, of assaulting his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. We're also going to talk about a situation with Anthony Edwards, a shooting guard, if you will, for the T-Wolves, NBA player who finds himself in a little bit of hot water with a woman who she says via text message, it sounds like it's true, forced her to have deletion of their baby. So we'll get a little bit into that. So Donovan, what's going on with you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I am relaxed, got my treatments. I am not necessarily energized, but I will say this. When you go to different countries, they have different standards. That's why when people say, oh, I could live over there, I always tell, people that are Americans, no, you can't, because you would expect an American type lifestyle. And every day I was there, it rained every day. I'm talking about hard rain. And so the internet was just up and down. And even though, and you got to remember, in these countries, there's no such thing in a lot of these countries as storage. We are one of the only countries where we pay people to store stuff that we're not using. In some of these countries, they use stuff until it can't be used. And I was down there, long story short, and I was telling them, you don't have a software problem. It's not a software problem. Your hardware has to upgrade, because I had the same problem here in my own home. Because, if you're at a 5G or a 2G and it goes up, you might have had your equipment. When you have Wi-Fi, you should change your hardware equipment at least between, they say, every 2 to 3 years. Because the software upgrades, but the hardware doesn't upgrade. And I was telling the hotel that, and they just couldn't, they're going to ride it out until they couldn't ride out. And then I was, of course, in the suite, so it was a little higher. It was just a mess. So I just couldn't do it. But glad to be back. It was a good trip. We put the flyers out of Demetra Kaye out there. So, but you know what? She did have her minions out there protesting up and down. It was crazy. So yeah. So we're on top of the Demetra Kaye Association, and keeping it away from the no ma'am organizations that were propping up across the nation.
Yeah, you see how that happened, worked out for you. How it was an epic fail. My girls was all over shut him down every chance you get. So anyway, I see I'm kind of slow a little bit, but it'll catch up. It usually does. All right. So we are going to get into Mr. Jonathan Majors. I want to put this up so you guys can see who we're talking about, because not everybody goes to the movies or anything like that. But as you can see there, the brother is Jonathan Majors, and he is a movie star. At least, he still is until, I'll get into it. Anyway, you guys have seen Jonathan Majors. He's 34 years old. You've seen him in things like Lovecraft Country, which was one of my favorite series ever. It was really good. He was also in Creed 3. He was also in The Harder They Fall, which is a movie I love. And I've actually seen most of these. And then Kane the Conqueror. I haven't seen that one. But anyway, he was arrested due to an altercation that he had with his girlfriend, as you can see, ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari, the white woman here in the picture, on March 25th. Now, he was arrested for assault, and it was like assault in the 3rd degree or something like that. Now, him and Grace had been together for 2 years, but it sounds like maybe their relationship was coming toward an end. Now, on that particular day, they got into some sort of an altercation, from what, they're saying, in the back of a car. And she saw he was texting another woman, something like, I wish I could kiss you now. I was kissing you now. Of course, she got enraged and tried to grab his phone. Sounds like maybe she did. And then these are her accusations that he took her hand, grabbed it, and twisted her finger and all this other stuff. And then she says that he roughed her up. Now, the surveillance video that they showed last week during the trial showed Mr. Majors doing a mad dash away from her once he got out of the car, like blocks. He was running from her and she was on his tail, right? You know, she was running, chasing him. So he was clearly trying to get away from her. And so then she was seen, this is all surveillance, she was seen going to a club, and Jonathan Majors was not with her. Then he said he returned back to the apartment. This is what I understand, and saw her unconscious, whatever, called the police or whatever. Then originally he said that she assaulted him, but then he was arrested. It sounds like the NAACP, the NYPD, they actually wanted to put a warrant out for her arrest because I guess they believe that she actually was the aggressor. But the DA there in Manhattan, ran by Alvin Braggs, who was a black man. I want to put that out there. And his office says, well, we're not going to pick up charges on her. Y'all can you put a warrant out for her, but we're not going to arrest her or, follow up. We're just not. They wanted him. All right. So nevertheless, they did go to court. So that what he was faced with was 2 counts of assault in the 3rd degree, harassment and aggravated harassment, right? Now, all misdemeanors. Now, he was actually found guilty of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and harassment. And that led him to be fired by Marvel and Disney. Those are the production studios that he was working with. Sounds like
and I don't mean to interrupt. Real quick, could you tell us if that's felonies or a misdemeanor?
No, I just said they were misdemeanors.
Okay.
Yeah, they're misdemeanors. Okay, so but they found him innocent of intentional assault of the 3rd degree and aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree. Now he will be sentenced on February 6th. Okay, so of course there's a lot of opinions about it, and I think the majority opinion is, well, that's messed up because clearly she was the aggressor as well. But then they allowed her to use some old recording that she recorded of them having some sort of an altercation or a verbal altercation where he said he needed her to be like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. Now, a lot of people ran away with it. It made it seem like he was telling her she needs to be that. But I think when I heard it, he was basically saying that you need to be behind your man, like those women were behind their men. I think that's what he was trying to say. But of course, the internet ran away with it like he was telling her to be those. Clearly, she's cannot be that, for a whole host of reasons. And so sounds like, he was found guilty by a jury of 6. Sounds like maybe he could be facing a year in jail at the most. Probably won't do any jail time. But his lawyer says that he's disappointed and both grateful, I guess, that he did not get found guilty of some of the worst stuff, I guess. But then, of course, the other side of that is, he's lost a lot of money and contracts and careers. So then there's other people says, well, that's what he get. They believe that he put his hands on her. Some people are saying, well, you need to leave them white women alone. What else do you need to know? So Donovan, that's what I have as far as that is concerned. So what say you? I'm gonna take their picture down. By now, you guys know who they are.
Well, I'm gonna say this. The brother upgraded to Megan Good. So I would say, things are working out. Sometimes the Lord works in mysterious ways. Sometimes, but I believe his ex-girlfriend, she's of Australian descent background, I believe.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and it's really unfortunate that you see, Demetra. How long have I been saying that all of this? This, that, oh, we need this, we need that. We have enough Black people in places to make a difference in Black people's lives in this country, and yet nothing is done. You have a Black DA that sees what is going on, and yet he continued on to pursue charges against the Black guy. This is the problem that we have. So, I don't want to hear people talk about, oh, we need to vote more Democrats. We have police chiefs, Black police chiefs, Black senators, and I'm talking about state senators, Black assembly members. We've got people, black judges. We've got them in all of these positions, and yet the laws are still skewed against us as people, and especially as black men. And I'm not, telling people who they should love and what they should do and all this other stuff. But how many examples through history have we heard when Miss Ann makes an accusation, they're ready to burn the whole damn town down over a damn lie? I'm not here to tell people who you should love, but there's been example after example that when you put your situation and your career in regards to these people, they will sit there and burn you down along to get there. Now, I'm not saying, our own people won't do it as well, because, we know it is what it is, but we're saying the totality of it is the fact that when will you brothers learn? When will you brothers learn? There's two sets of rules in this country in regards to black and white. Even though it's not codified in the law itself, we know that there is, because if it wasn't, why are our parents telling us, you need to act this way when you're here, and you need to act this way when you're there? When you go to the police, you just want to arrive home, baby. Just do what they tell you to do, even though you might have rights. So I mean, I'm glad he got a misdemeanor, and I know people are saying, well, I didn't understand what his lawyer meant when he said, he's glad. Sometimes, and Demetra, you studied law as well as I did. Sometimes you take a loss to get a win. So I'm gonna give you guys a quick example for the people out there that kind of can't comprehend what I'm saying. If you're facing life in prison for the rest of your life, and they give you 10 years, that's a win. Okay, that's a win, especially if there's a bare minimum sentencing. If you're facing the death penalty and they give you life, that's a win. That's a win. So depending on how you look at it. And for Jonathan Majors, I have no doubt that the brother is highly talented. Highly talented. I mean, he had some stuff lined up. And I think Marvel recently dropped him.
Yeah.
In regards to the Marvel movies that he was slated to star in. And but you know what, Jonathan, I'm gonna tell you this, brother to brother, you got a good woman by your side right now, in Megan Good. She fine too, brother. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. She fine too, but she kind of knows the ins and outs. And I'm just gonna say this from my experience: when you have a good black woman behind you, as a black man, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. Look at Denzel Washington. His wife has been with him through thick and thin. And if it wasn't for her, Denzel Washington would never even be an actor. So hang in there. Hang in there.
Yes, indeed. And when I saw all that was unfolding, even before they went to trial and all of that, what crossed my mind is leave those white girls alone. You know what I mean? I know it's they say is she the black man's kryptonite? I just can't leave her alone. You just can't. But it's like, man, as I said in the nation, study history. Study history. What about you, black man, makes you think that you're special? What about you makes you think that you're going to be absolved of Miss Ann's wrath? You know what I mean? You not, because she knows her position in this society. I say it all the time. The white woman is the most coveted. I'm not saying she is, but in the world, she is the most coveted woman. You think about it. Most women, I don't care if she's a black woman, an Asian woman, or whatever, Hispanic, they tend to try to look like Miss Ann. Whether they dyeing their hair blonde or they bleaching their skin, they wearing the contacts. And I'm not saying in some of those situations that we don't have those things. It's rare, right, to see a blonde head black person or whatever. They do exist. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for the ones that assimilate themselves, they try to assimilate themselves to that of a white woman. So she is the most coveted woman. And I know, after slavery, when they said y'all black people go free, we been together that whole time. But then the black man hopped off the plantation and he could not stay out of Miss Ann. Now I know Miss Ann was jumping on him too, treating him like a trampoline during slavery, Mandingo, okay? But when we had a chance to run off and be together, the black man and I know the black woman too, but we talking about the black man right now. Ran off and could not wait to be with Miss Ann. Could not wait to do it. And every time he got caught with her, he found he suffered some sort of consequence, right? Malcolm X talked about it. We saw it in the movie, read it in the book. When he went, got sentenced with his homeboy Shorty or whatever, the judge was like, well, yeah, you gonna do some time, but you should have never had those white girls with you because they was doing the crimes with the white women. And so we've seen this time and time and time and time again where the brother, you ain't necessarily gonna pay for the crime that you're accused of. You're gonna pay for being with that white woman or doing it to that white woman. So let's take that to Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Major, now he's 34 years old. He not no baby, but he been around long enough to hear and see what happens when you roll around with Miss Ann. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the unmitigated gall, okay, to be texting your boo thing in her face. Now, whether you a white woman, black woman, green woman, whatever, don't no woman want to see you texting your boo thing. Like, so that right there, I can see why she was mad. You know what I mean? But because she knows who she is, and she's not even an American white woman, so that go to tell you they white woman all over the world. She knew her power. So it was, oh, he hurt me, because they said even at the bar, when she was at the bar, they saw her texting and, all this other stuff on her hands. But she said he had injured her hand so bad. But they was like, how? We saw you texting and having a good time at the bar. But she still knew her power as a white woman, right? But so he had to learn that lesson the hard way. Now, because for all the evidence that they've shown, it's like, okay, most people thought, okay, Jonathan ain't going to get in trouble. Now, they gonna dismiss that. But I'm interested to know who's on the jury. We already know who the prosecution was. It's headed by a black man. I just want to keep saying that because a lot of times the black woman get the blame. But that black man, Alvin Braggs, he could have said, nah, my brother, now that's too much to say he didn't do it. But he went full speed ahead, okay? So I say all that to say, unfortunately, Jonathan ain't going to be the only one. It's going to be more after him that have to learn the hard way that well, I'm special. I'm a special kind of black man. I ain't going to dig in. Nah, she know who she is. And then the other thing, you don't think every time she saw him walking in there with Megan, she was hoping, oh, yeah, I hope they find him guilty. Who does he think he is? He coming in here. Yeah, I want to piggyback off you said. Always bet on black. Yeah, Megan is a good black woman, even though a lot of black women wrote him off and trying to write her off too. Oh, why she be with him? She know he didn't. Nah, she seen good in that black man, and he got the sense now. Okay, he had the sense now to say, let me get together with a good black woman so we can do some good black things for our good black selves and our good black people, right? That's what he should have been done. But listen, I'm one of those people, I believe in redemption. It ain't never too late. The brother got him a good woman, but don't always let it be to where the black woman got to be the cleanup woman after you ran out there and got rope-a-dope by Miss Ann, and then it's like, hey, big head. You know what I'm saying? Because Megan makes him look good. Megan actually raises his real estate to be with him hand in hand every day, walking in and out of that courtroom. So he better be on his knees kissing that black woman's feet for raising his real estate after that white woman burnt it down.
Hey, I'm with you 100%. And for those of you guys that don't know how Megan got her start, in Friday when Big Worm was in the ice cream truck, she was the little girl that said, "I hate him." That was Megan Good. Back in that thing. That's how she kind of got started as a child actor. So, but yeah, no, 100%. Again, we could ring this alarm all day. There's going to be these hard-headed Negroes that will go out here and constantly blame the black woman for the plight that they're in, or what they don't like, and what they can't get, and cooperation, and all this stuff you're seeing on social media. Okay. However, yes, are there hyenas out there? Yes, there are hyenas out there. There's also sharks out there. There's also piranha out there. There's also all kinds of crap out there. But there are a lot of good black women, and I've met a lot of good black women. And I'm going to tell you, when you've got a good black woman, fellas, I get it. But when you got a good black woman, your own kind, that is going to back you there is nothing you cannot do. There's nothing you cannot do. They're out there. Just don't be giving up because, well, I'm getting this one pregnant, getting this one pregnant, getting this one pregnant, and they're all putting me on child support. That's not their problem. That's your problem. You're the one doing that to yourself. You see what I'm saying? So, Alvin Bragg, the DA, this guy had the opportunity to prosecute Donald Trump initially when the charges came down. And what did he chose to do? Nope, I'm not going to prosecute him, which led a lot of high key attorneys in the New York AG office to resign because they said, if we're going to get him, we're going to get him now. Didn't want to do it. So to your point, Demetra, he has the power to say pursue or not pursue. And here, once again, you got a black man that decides to, over some bogus charges, BS charges, they're going to put it on the man. You got Daniel Cameron in Kentucky, AG, would not prosecute a murder of Breonna Taylor. This is why, you guys, as a recovering Democrat, I keep telling you guys, I don't want to hear about, we need to do this and we need to do that. We have plenty of black people in positions of power to make a difference in our community, and they choose not to. You want to know why? They're either more blue, they're more Democratic than there are black, or they're just there to enrich themselves. We have enough people to change the culture. Yes, do we need an anti-crime crime bill for black people? Yes, I think we need to do that. But technically we don't, because most of your major cities have black police chiefs or assistant police chiefs or whatever. So if you got that high of a volume of policedom of black people within police departments, why hasn't the culture changed? Why? Ask yourself that. So, more power to him. Like I said, I do believe Jonathan Major, he will make a comeback. He's got that woman that's going to, number one, she's also in the industry with him. So she sees what's going on, whatever it is. He's going to make a comeback. But it's just unfortunate that when a black man is accused of something, everything is taken from him from the get-go in a country where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. George Santos, I agree with the point of him saying it is wrong to expel him from Congress without due process. Everybody should have due process. If we're getting rid of people without due process, then what's the point of innocent until proven guilty? Unfortunately, you guys, as we know as black people, especially as black men, you are guilty until you can prove your innocence.
And that's the thing, and as far as George Santos, I'm one of those people, I believe certain things don't need due process. I think certain things are common sense. The man is, he's a mess. Okay. He got a lot of stuff going on. They've been trying to get rid of him for a minute now, and it is just the worst stuff, right? So I think some things it just needs to take common sense. Okay, we know you got some issues, you're doing the most, you gotta go. We don't need to waste no time, right? It's like, to me, with the death penalty, I'm against it unless we know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that person did it, right? What we doing due process for? You did it, all right, you got to go. You know what I mean? But then maybe that's just me. Well, maybe that's why I'm not at the helm of stuff. But the other thing too is, as far as the brother man in America, and I'm gonna have to, to spank y'all a little bit. Y'all talking about we want to be the leaders, we the leaders, and we this and we that and we this, but y'all can't even stay away from that kryptonite. Y'all supposed to be so smart. I'm playing devil's advocate here, so I'm not saying y'all not. Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate. Y'all so smart, and y'all seen and heard time and time and time and time again that woman ain't your woman. She only good with you when you're good with her, okay? And a lot of times, those women don't just let you walk away. I'm gone, Miss Ann, we good? Yeah, we good. She turned into misery on you. She turned into misery, hobble both your ankles, have you tied up in the injustice system. And, most of the time, you're going down for the count because they're going to believe her word over yours. And so I say that because it's like, again, y'all got a lot of smoke for the sister. And I'm not saying some of that ain't deserved. Y'all got a lot of smoke for us. But that white woman, she take your head and she take your there every time. And y'all don't know how to. Okay, maybe I can help y'all a little bit. Y'all need to treat Miss Ann like a hot stove. Okay? You touch that stove and it's hot. Oh, I ain't gonna do that again, but nah. Y'all keep touching the hot stove and keep getting burnt. Now, the great thing for Jonathan Majors is that he didn't get found guilty of something a little bit more serious, because he could have been going away for a long time. Now, sounds like what they did find him guilty of, it was like unintentional, it was an accidental assault, which is stupid, right? But of course, they had to vindicate Miss Ann, so they got to put something on the brother. You ain't gonna just get away with it. You know what I mean? You got the answer for that. But the other good thing is there are a lot of good Black people, like your 50 Cent, you got your Nate Parkers, you got your Spike Lees, I don't know about Tyler, whatever, but you got Black people, Will and Jada, they got a Black-owned studio. They could put Jonathan to work. See, that's the other thing, too, is we need to stop hearing, oh, well, this major studio got rid of an actor. Oh, all right, cool. He Black anyway. We got it. We don't need white people to validate and all this other stuff no more. Let's start moving, getting on code. Let's start moving as one. Let's start saying, hey, you know what? See, to me, it's like the same conversation with the NFL. If all that Black talent, which is 70% Black athletes, they leave and go start their own thing, then the white people gonna be like, okay, well, maybe we won't listen to you now. What was that you were saying? Because you've gotten your power, but I don't see this as a loss for Jonathan Major. I actually see this as an opportunity for him to actually go get with Black people, put out great Black work so that Black people can enjoy. Because one thing we ain't going to ever do about Mr. Majors is say he is not a great actor. He's one of my favorite actors. He's acted in a lot of stuff that I absolutely love. Did he get off course a little bit? Yeah, he did. But I think, the universe knows better. And I think he'll be fine. I think now his eyes are wide open. He can listen now. And he got him a good Black woman by his side. And I think he's going to do wonderful things. So I'm not discouraged.
Yeah, and real quick, before we transition, could you give us some recommendations on some of the movies that you think that people would want to see that are kind of not distraction candy, that a lot of movies are out there like that? I'm talking about some quality movies. Could you give some recommendations real quick?
From him or in general?
Just in general.
Oh, I just watched one called Leave the World Behind. It's an excellent movie. I put it on I recommend it on Facebook and YouTube. It's a great movie. It's something that we need to know. We talk about it all the time. I don't want to give it away, but I also said the nation has been talking about it for a very long time. And I know a lot of people didn't like the ending. The ending was it was almost the favorite part to me of the movie. I just think a lot of people didn't understand it. So maybe you need to watch it again so that you can really get what is going on. But there was a dialogue between Kevin Bacon, his character, and Ethan Hawke's character that I think was so profound. And a lot of people are really going to miss it. It's going to go right over their head. So that I would start there. Just right away. Leave the World Behind. Julia Roberts. I call him Mahershala Bar because he's so dark, fine chocolate. Mahershala Ali, Kevin Bacon, and Ethan Hawke. And there's another sister. Her name starts with M. I can't remember her name. But a really, really, really good thought-provoking movie that's actually produced by Michelle and Obama, their production company, Higher Ground, which I was kind of shocked that they made that type of movie, but then I understand why they made it, because they know most people are going to be, That's why I said, if you were watching it for entertainment, then you're watching it for the wrong reason. But they know you're watching for entertainment, though.
Right, exactly. Let me ask you this real quick before we transition. There's a big push in the studios out here in the production world and the promotion world. I'm sorry. The Color Purple remake. Oprah Winfrey's putting a new spin on that. I mean, I'm definitely not going to go see it. I'll let that be known. I'm not going to go see it. But what's your take in regards to this Color Purple remake? I understand it's a musical.
Yeah, I will go see it. I like musicals. It's one of my favorite genres. I like musicals. I actually saw the Color Purple on Broadway when it first came out. I saw it on Broadway as a musical, so it was nice. So I'd like to see it in a movie production. I don't have a problem with the Color Purple. I've always said I don't have a problem with it. I know that seems like in the last, and I know there was some kind of pushback then, but really in the last couple of years, there's been this big to do about how the color purple ruined the image of black men, and dizzied black women somehow into seeing all black men as Mister. I don't buy into that because I'm a little bit more intelligent than to think that a movie. Because see, one thing I never do is I never go to a movie and let uh, allow it to change my life unless it's a life changing movie like the one I just told you about, Leaving the World Behind. I think it's something that people really need to watch and take heed to. Um, but I think we should be intelligent enough to be able to go to a movie and say, okay, now did this really change the black woman? Did this really, do something to the image of the black man? You know what I mean? Because if you are already great, there's not too much something can do outside of you to ruin your image. Because when I hear black men say that the color purple, they just ruined the black, and that makes me think that the y'all, for not y'all, whoever saying this, that the black man is weak. I never once saw the color purple and thought weakly of the black man. I never have. I never saw the color purple and thought of the black man as a horrible person. I thought of Mister as a horrible person. There's a whole lot of people that were horrible people in that movie, but I never attached Mister to all black men. So when I hear that correlation, I'm like, where y'all getting this from? Are y'all that weak to where y'all think that one depiction of that man is indicative of all black men? That's so bizarre to me. But then again, like I saying, maybe I'm not from here. Maybe I'm from outer space somewhere and we think differently. I don't know.
Yeah, you're definitely from outer space. No, joking. But no, I'm gonna give my opinion on that real quick on the color purple. And the thing is, it's a story in regards to a particular woman's experience, right? Be it fictional, and a lot of women, it could be nonfiction. One of the most prolific movies at the time, it was a TV thing for me. I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. For me, that was eye opening there. If you look, Lady Sings the Blues. In our community, see, and that's another thing. I hate when people try to mask what is going on in the community. You've got older men that prey on younger women, for whatever reasons, whatever. And back in that stage of the world, when it was back then, that stuff was going on. It was. I'm not saying it was a common thing, but it was going on. There was a lot of abuse, a lot of physical abuse within relationships, and all that other stuff. And it wasn't just the black man doing it; the white man was doing it, the Chinese man was doing it. Everybody. That was the genre of America at that stage.
They're still doing it in some places,
right?
In America.
Right, exactly. And so, I always tell people you got to look at it in the context of what it was drawn. I mean, come on, in the old Western days, I could walk around and shoot you and claim self-defense. I'm not even going to trial. You know what I mean? Depending on where you're at. So, the color purple. My thing is this. When I think of musicals, I think of it like how could you make Mr. dance around? I don't know how they're going to do it. So the next musical is going to be What's Love Got to Do with It? You're going to see Ike.
Yeah, like I said, I saw it on Broadway as stage play musical. It was really good. They weren't singing the whole thing, but they had songs and stuff, things like that. They put songs to it, if you will. So I would imagine that the play is going to run in the same. I mean, the movie is going to run in the same vein. But as I always said, I remember, I think I was maybe 12 or so when it came out. I mean, so that's how long the movie, the book is out before then, but the movie's been out. I remember my grandmother and my mom, I'm coming back from seeing the movie, and they both had husbands. We were there at the house with my stepdad and my grandfather as my mom and grandmother went to the movies, and they came back and they were so joyous talking about the movie. Like I said, I never remembered them coming home saying, "You old sucker. I want a divorce from you right away. You mister." I never heard them. They were talking amongst themselves, and they might have told my grandfather and my, dad. He was my dad. And my stepfather, I called him dad. They were talking to them about the movie, and it wasn't with
vitriol. It was like, hey, this is a really good movie.
They was glad they saw the movie. So that's why when I started to hear this lately, within the last couple of years, how the color purple ruined black women, I was like, how?
Well, I'm going to cut you off. What it is when you're a younger black woman, let's say you were born in the 1990s, the way they look at that movie in the context of the modern age would be abusive. You know what I mean? That they're not looking at it in the context of its era. Yeah, by definition, and that's where I think that is coming from. You know what I mean? Again, people that don't have enough education or enough comprehension, they think, oh my God, because if you look at a lot of these young women, they antiquate these movies in their era as, oh, all men. I'm not saying all women. I'm just saying because when I talk to women of our age, nobody's like got vitriol to black men. I mean, they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, my grandmother, this is that was no big deal. But you talk to younger women in their 30s that probably were born in the 90s, they have a totally different take on it.
Yeah, and as a woman that speaks to women all the time, especially women in that demographic, my daughter's 30. All her friends are 30. So I talk to them quite a bit, and I've never ever heard them even once. And they talk about The Color Purple. Talking about going to see it. I never heard them say, you know what, all men are like Mister. I never even heard them say it. Like never. Anybody who is black in a black family, regardless of when you were born, you've seen The Color Purple probably 30 times. You know what I mean? We can recite the movie from here to there, right? It's like in my family, The Color Purple is a running joke. Like me and my sister, if something is bizarre that happens, we'll say, Mary, what? Because you remember was at the table, what's his name? Caesar Rudolph, whatever his name was, when they was at the table, and then the squeak, she said her name. She said, my name is Mary. And then he looks up, Mary what? Mary who gives a damn, right? So we'll say that, as a joke. So the point that I'm making is, a lot of people have seen that movie and they might, and I'm not saying there's some women who don't take that from that, but I agree with you in the context of when it was made. Yeah, back then it was legal for a fully grown man to want to marry a 12-year-old, because I think that's what Celie was. I think she was roughly 12 or so in the movie. And even if that wasn't done in real life, what Mr. was doing to Celie, because in the movie he didn't care about her, but you think about it in a real life context, what is that like? Because there's been so many think pieces and stuff done on The Color Purple, but if you think about it from Celie's standpoint, maybe that was the ideology of a lot of girls her age back then. I want to play with Barbie dolls. I want to run around the yard with my siblings, but for whatever reason, I'm given away to this very old, dirty man, whether he was that or not. But to her, this is her viewpoint. He doesn't want me. I mean, I was the lesser of the beautiful ones.
That's the analogy between you and your sister that we always use.
Right. And not even just, I'm just trying to draw a correlation between The Color Purple and real life. You think of a 12-year-old girl, she might back then know some, homemaking skills because that's what they did. But now I'm in charge of taking care of a fully grown man and his children who are roughly my age, you know what I mean? And the only time he ever touches me is when, as she said, he's doing his business on me. It's not a, hey, I want to make this as pleasurable for you. Now you think about a 12-year-old. Well, but in that case, like he said, she ain't fresh because her daddy wasn't her daddy, had already hopped on her a couple of times and gave her some babies and, all that other stuff going on. And so from a standpoint of a 12-year-old, that might have been how she saw any man that wanted to make her his wife. Like, what? I don't even want to do that with you. You know what I mean? And not to even be grotesque, but I'm one of those people that like to really draw a point. So you're this fully grown man and you're hopping on and I'm trying to be as clean as I can, an adolescent, because that's what she is at 12, who may or may not have ever had that done to her before or whatever, and usually if it is, it's probably somebody her age, but you feel like this fully grown man who is going to take from you something so precious and he's not even going to care about it. So you got to think about all of that, especially because I studied, it was, I can't think of the name of the course, but we studied the correlation between men and young girls back in the day when it was legal. And people don't think about it in that context. They just think, oh, he's going to take a bride. She's going to go wash his drawers and, make him something to eat. But they don't think about, it wasn't abuse then, but it is abuse if you think about what he's going to do to her body.
Right. And and again, in the context of the era, my grandmother gave birth to my uncle when she was 14 years old. And that was not uncommon. And then, she got me, they got married, whatever. But, I think they got married while she was like pregnant or something. You know how that
Yeah.
was. They kind of forced it in there.
How
But
old was your grandfather?
I think he's like 3 or 4 years older than her. He was 3 or 4
But
years older
not
than her.
like in his 40s though.
Yeah, he wasn't an older,
Yeah.
mature man. But again, it was not uncommon for younger women, girls, to be married or do that, back in those days, because he had big families. You can't start when you're 30, talk about 12 kids. I mean, my grandmother had over 20 children.
Right, which
Big
is what
families
they
were
did
common.
back then. Yeah, that was
Right,
normal. Yeah.
right.
But you think about somebody, Seeley, because there's a lot of, that she didn't have a say so. She didn't want to go. She didn't have a say so, and that was true back then. Let's take into account a lot of those families did have 20 children or so. Maybe they couldn't take care of them, so they was like, "Well, we gonna marry her off to the dude up the street around the corner that can take care of her because we can't take care of her. So we'll marry them off, and it's not a big deal." Now, I'd say 10 times out of 10, she didn't want to go with him because she also knew what that meant. He wasn't going to wait until her body was mature enough to be able to, withstand what he was going to do to her. He, a lot of times, took her that night as a 12-year-old. And so, and I'm glad that we do live in a state to where they changed that for a whole lot of reasons, but in a lot of other countries, it's not the case. I mean, they take brides as young as 9, 10 years old.
Afghanistan, when I was down there, I happened to run across and heard about he was 73, and he took a 13 or something like that year old girl, a child bride. But what could you say? You're in another country. That's their customs. You just do what they do. So
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't have a problem with the color purple because, like I said, I don't view it in all of that. It's a movie. Uh, but I think we got to
I
get
try to explain to young people you can't antiquate what goes on today with what went on then.
right. But I've seen a lot of people, especially in the manosphere, try to tie that into some sort of a think piece. It's like, is you for real? This is what we're doing. Like I said,
Well,
I've never.
the good old days are the good old days, man. I wish we can go back to them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's change gears here. I'm going to put this up so y'all can get an idea of who we are speaking of. This was all new to me as of yesterday when I saw this unfold. So I'm going to put their pictures up really quick so y'all can see. Okay. So what we have here is a situation. Now, the guy in the middle is Anthony Edwards. He plays for the Timberwolves, Minnesota, T-Wolves, however you want to say it. He's a shooting guard rather, for the team. Sounds like he's has a contract over 4-year time span, $44 million, which averages out to $11 million a year. Says he's worth about $14 million right now. I just want to give you, some background on him. He's 22 years old. Okay. Now, the woman that's in a Looney Tunes outfit, I think that's what that is, with the rabbit ears. Okay. Now, recently, she accused him of forcing her to get an abortion. So I'm going to show y'all the text in just a few minutes. Okay. So I just want, and we don't know how old she is, but her name is Paige Jorday. Okay. Paige Jorday. Again, we don't know her age. I wrote some stuff down. She is what you guys would know as an IG model. Okay, she's an IG model. She has about 416,000 followers on IG. She's also an OnlyFans girl. She has 2 OnlyFans accounts, and they have between the both of them about 100,000 subscribers between the both of them. Okay. Now, the woman on the other side of him in the army fatigue kind of like thing, her name is Janine Robel. Now, that's the new girlfriend. Okay. Sounds like they've been together 2 months, give or take. Okay. That's the new girlfriend, and they are expecting a baby together. Okay. Now, she also is the ex of rapper Chief Keef, and they have a baby together. All right. Now, recently, Janine, the one with the army fatigue on, just recently announced that she's pregnant, I guess. You know, um, but she looks a little bit further along if you ask me in the pictures I saw. So maybe they were dating longer than that. I don't know. Nevertheless, sounds like she announced that she is pregnant with Anthony's baby. Okay, so y'all got a good picture of who these people are. And I don't know what Janine does. Don't know her age either, but you know, she's been with some notable people. I'll just put it that way. Okay. I want to remove them. And I am going to put up the why we're here. Okay. So let's see. Do I have that up and ready? Let me get rid of this. Oh, and okay, I'll show y'all just a second. Hold on, let's see. Bam. Okay. This is still very antiquated system, so you know I have to kind of take my time and make sure I'm putting up the right pictures. Okay. So this exploded all over the internet yesterday. Now I put them together. I'm going to read them to you as best I can. Okay. So it sounds like Paige, that's the IG model's name, was, you know, feeling a certain type of way from what I can kind of put together after the new soon to be baby mama had disclosed that she was pregnant. Okay. So she puts up, as y'all can see, it looks like a clear blue type of thing where you see if you're pregnant. It sounds like it looks like she was pregnant. And she says, I still, now remind you, she's accusing him of forcing her to get an abortion. Okay. So she says, I still have an appointment on the 27th. And he says, hell no, can't do this. So it looks like he sends her an email or something like that. And she says, so now what? She's in the blue. Then, okay, so then he sends the email and then she says, what a great response. And he says, get an abortion, laugh out loud. And she says, honestly, I had an abortion with my son around 2 months ago and regret it every day. So I don't know.
2 years ago.
Because that says 2. Okay, I'm sorry, because it's kind of messed up. So I'm about to say, wow. Okay, so 2 years ago. Okay, thank you. 2 years ago, and I regret it. And then he says, man, you can't force a kid in the world. You don't know what it is yet. And so she says, that's not the point. I said I had an abortion 2 years ago and I regret it. Okay, so let's move to my right. So she says, being cool to us is just going to get an abortion by myself. And it's kind of, I can't really see not gonna do, you're not gonna do ish, and you're gonna go about your day. Okay. And she says, that's not being cool to you. And she says, obviously you've been through this before just by your reaction. He says, I will send you money to help you out. She says, I didn't ask for it, but okay. She says, you don't want a baby? Is that why? Or saying all of this because I've been cool with you? He says, I don't want kids. Let's handle this like grown-ups. And she says, okay, I'm not trying to force you to be a dad to a baby you don't want. I just don't like abortions. That doesn't make me wrong. If you really don't want to do this, then fine, I won't. Then let's move again to the right. He says, just take the pills. I don't know what pills those are, but just take the pills. She says, you don't care about no one. And I guess it maybe was said, but you was cut off. Says, you got the money. What's the hold up? That's what he's saying to her. Because now you finna make a problem. And she says, finna make what a problem? Exactly. I don't give a F. I've been nice this whole time. I don't bother you. I don't cause problems, nothing. Don't speak. I think she meant to me like that. I told you, I would because you want me to. So that's why you're talking about I don't know, life, blah, blah, blah. Then he goes on to say, okay, make sure I get the video, the inbox with the right pills. So let's go down to the bottom. There's a picture of a baby. She says, look how cute though. She says, he says in the video. So I guess maybe the video proving something. I don't know. She says, I haven't even taken them or received anything. He says, send the video. Says, why are you repeating the same ish? The video, he's saying. She says, I will sleep. Okay, so let's move over. So she sends the video or whatever, I guess proving that she did it. So then he says, so I send you what you asked, then it's F me? No, she says that. Then she says, you're going to ignore me now? So I guess maybe ignore her. He says, my attorney gonna handle it. So then she says, you said we were handling it ourselves. And then when I do my part, you turn. Your attorney haven't even responded. Just do what you said you would do. I did my part. You can send it. within 48 hours. Then he says he's supposed to, and I don't know what the bottom says now. Sorry, but this part over here is very small, but it is a receipt saying that he sent her $100,000. Okay. He sent her $100,000 and guess he did his part. Okay. So I'm going to remove all of this. Needless to say, that was all on her Instagram. It sounds like on her story, right? She released all these receipts, this, that, and the other. Sounds like he paid her the money. $100,000 is a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But now the question is, well, why are you releasing this thing if he did this, that, and the other? So then he issues an apology after she does all of this. And it says, I made comments in the heat of the moment that are not me, and they that are not aligned with what I believe and who I want to be as a man. All women should be supported and empowered to make their own decisions about their bodies and what is best for them. I am handling my personal matters privately and will not be commenting on them any further at this time. Okay. So he issued an apology because I guess maybe, I don't know, people felt a certain type of way, like, oh, he forced her to do this, forced an abortion on her or whatever. And so, Donovan, that's what I have. What is your thoughts on all of this?
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time, Beretta. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I don't want to make light of it, but there was something that she said in the thing, and I wish more men would think about this, and maybe you'd be a little bit more responsible in what you're doing. She said, honestly, I had an abortion with my son 2 years ago, and I regret it every day. They regret it every day. So when you're out here, fellas, and you're raw dogging these girls, or you're putting yourself in that position, this woman now, and not everybody's mature and stuff like that. You're in this situation. This young girl, let's say, whatever your idea of young is. Mental health is a serious thing, and I really feel personally that some of the women that I encounter, and when we talk about like family and stuff, I could kind of pick up like a fissure in their head when it comes to talking about family structure and stuff. And sometimes it usually something, and maybe it's just me. And I'm not saying I'm always right, but I wonder if that woman that I'm talking to at that time probably had an abortion in her younger years, and it's in the back of her mind and something like that, because that's a serious thing. You think about this in a community when a woman willingly or for whatever reasons has to delete her children, that's going to scar her mind really, really bad. And I can understand a woman having anger toward a man that puts her in that position. You know what I mean? Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. So when women are angry, some women that I've run across that are angry toward men and they just hate men, when you really talk to them in some scenarios, and I have a degree in social behavioral, so it doesn't mean I'm an expert. I'm just saying I can pick up certain things. And when I talk to them, I can see where some of that anger comes from, because social and economically, maybe we're not in a position where we can afford to have these children, whatever, but for some reason we put these women in these positions. And then we have the damn nerve to complain about when they take us to child support or whatever. This situation with this young man, I don't know if, what his family structure is or whatever, but for me, and I'm speaking for myself, there is no way in hell I am going to allow my child to be destroyed without me doing everything that I need to do to save that child, or to be there, whatever. If I got to get 3 jobs, I'm going to get 3 jobs. This guy's a multimillionaire, and he don't want to deal with it. But you didn't have problem having sex with her? Whenever I have sex with a woman, the first thing that comes to my mind is there's a probability of pregnancy. Now, is this the type of woman that is wife worthy? Is this the type of woman that I want to spend the rest of my life, deal with the rest of my life? That's what we got to think about. Everybody's entitled to one mistake. I honestly believe that. I'm a victim of the child support system. There's no secret there. But because of that, I learned my lesson. And I don't put myself in those situations over and over again. I have grace for women that have to deal with men like this, that have the means, and yet their immaturity, they don't want to live up to their responsibilities of what they're going to do. Yeah, is it fair that a woman could make you a father when you don't want to be a father? Yeah, that is unfair. But you got to ask yourself as a man, why would you give her that power? You have that power to say, nope, I'm going to make my own decisions. I'm going to be a father when I'm ready to be a father. Don't put yourselves in that position, because more and more of these men out here, and I'm not man bashing. I'm just trying to be an older brother trying to tell you guys, stop blaming these women for the position you put yourself in. Period. And when you put these women in these positions, it messes up their minds. Imagine yourself as a man having to delete children, much less your own.
I'm gonna put this up really quick. This is page. It was so quick. I'm gonna play it again for y'all.
Is that the Dominican Republic?
And she definitely went to the DR to get her booty. Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. I just want y'all to see that, and I'll get into that in just a second. Because that baffles me. Let me write it down before I even forget it. Okay, so she also went on to say, after I guess maybe she got a little bit of backlash, I never once ran to the internet about no one. I tried over and over to handle this privately, and my efforts were ignored. I've been lied to and manipulated by someone who knows exactly what they're doing, and this takes no accountability for anything. She also goes on to say, y'all always want someone to blame, and I guess it's going to be me. First of all, heifer, because that's really what I want to call her. That's the best word to come to my mind. Heifer. And Donovan, I'm going to have to disagree with you. This is odd that me and you are on different sides of this. I agree with you, but I disagree with you. I agree with you because y'all know I always say, men, if you don't want to pay child support, then zip your pants up. Okay? Don't trampoline her. You know what I'm saying? Just walk away if you don't want child support, because that's within your control too. You know, clearly you didn't want to be with this woman. You saw her big, fat, giant booty that she probably got from the DR. And, you know, you played with it and all this other stuff. And first of all, you was hitting it raw. You was hitting it raw. She an OnlyFans model. Ain't no telling what else she doing. And I'm guarantee you right
sex worker. Now. Sex worker. Let's be straight. That's sex work.
Yeah. She's a sex worker, but you hitting it raw. So if she a sex worker, she was working with other people before she got with you. You know what I'm saying? And she said she had an abortion already before that, this, that, and the other, which sounds like this man don't know nothing about this woman. He's 22, so she looks like she's older than him, okay? And the other woman looks like she's older as well. But, yeah, so I agree with you on that. Men, stop putting your little bitty Peter where you don't want to spend at least 18 to 22 years. It's just that serious. Now, however, ain't nobody put her in that position. The position she put herself in, legs up, bending up, she put herself in those positions because she too knows that when you, I have to take my thing out because I always have to feel like I just need to, what did I do with it? Okay, this ain't really what, okay, I'll use this. When you take the female part and you inject the male part, you could start a baby. Okay. I think that's, you know, it's what is it? Biology, somewhere along the lines, you know, they teach you that stuff in school. Nevertheless, that's not hard. Okay. So you as a woman know that you get horizontal with a man, you let him get inside of you with no protection and let off his little seedlings in you, is a potential that you're going to get a baby. So nobody put her in that position. She put herself in that position. But what had happened was he let her know right away, listen, boo-boo, I'm not trying to be with you. I don't want no baby with you. He said, I don't want kids, but it sounds like his new girlfriend is having a child. How true that is, I don't know. That's what I read. But he's basically saying, I don't want a child with you. So she's a sack chaser. Let's keep it real. Because if she really was interested in keeping that child, she'd have kept that child. But he handed her $100,000, made her offer. She could not refuse it. She says, all right, bet, I'll do it. It's worth $100,000 for me to get rid of my baby. So she did it, right? She did it once before. She'd do it again. But she thought that her big, giant, stuffed, you know, the Michelin man booty was going to, land her a man. First of all, he's 22. He don't know what he wants from one day to the next. Okay. So that was her mistake in thinking that she was going to get a baby. And I don't even know if she was pregnant. She probably was lying. Probably wasn't even her. She probably just trying to gauge to see what he was going to do or whatever the case is. He let her know right away and know in certain terms, I do not want no baby with you. That was her fault. And for her to run to the internet after he did what he was supposed to do is foul. And that's what they in California, we call a monkey wrench hoe. Okay. So monkey wrench hoe, because you throwing in a monkey wrench in his situation. Now you see he got a new girlfriend. It ain't you, boo-boo. So you're going to try to blast on him, as they say in New York. We gonna scream on him. I'm gonna scream on him, put all his business out there, tell everybody what we had going on, even after the man fulfilled his end of the bargain. So when I saw it, I'm like, well, what she want us to do with it? It ain't like the man didn't write you a fat check. Shoot, Bunquisha and them, they don't even get that. They get half on the deletion of the baby. In the hood, let's just keep it real. They don't get no, well, here's some little something for you. The troubles, and I agree with you, Donovan. It does do a lot to a woman to have to do that. To her baby. It is a psychological trip or whatever the case is. But that's also the case of make sure you are settling down to a good choice. But see, we live in a society, and I'm not saying it wasn't true back then, but we live in a society to where we just hopping in the bed with any and everybody. We believe any and everything they tell us. Oh, I can't have kids. Oh, this, that, the other. Oh, I'm good. And then you end up scratching where you ain't supposed to itch. And you know what I'm saying? You bringing all these babies in the world that's illegitimate in the eyes of not being married to the mom. It's just a lot going on where you can just say, I don't even know you like that. And that's why I say to you as men, y'all should also feel valuable enough to where, like, I'm not going to put my little bitty tiny dang-a-lang and just any old woman. I don't know you like that heifer. So she put herself in that position.
I'm going to say this, and like I said, it's very rare. You guys, Demetra and I, kind of agree on things like this. It's very, very rare. But again, Demetra's coming around. She's maturing. She's seeing that. she's seeing the evil of the low down, dirty woman. Tripping these guys up. But if you go to most Western countries, you have a red light district where these issues are not a big deal. And what I mean by a big deal is it's regulated by the government, just like weed now is and all that other stuff, right? The guy goes in there. Sex work is sex work. So ladies, I don't care what you say. If you're on OnlyFans, that's sex work. I'm sorry. It just doesn't matter. I don't care. It's just that you're not on the street. You're behind closed doors, and then you're meeting up with these dudes, like in this woman's situation. So to me, it's a sex work. Like I said, it's no different than going to the DR in certain areas in the DR and coming here. It's the same thing, as far as I'm concerned. I know a lot of people will not agree with me, but you're delusional if you don't think there's a transactional relationship there. So in these countries that have the red light district, it's regulated, the girls are safe, whatever it is. They don't have too many of these issues going on because the girls have to, STD things have to be checked, and these things are just done. And I'm not saying I actually believe we should have red light districts here in the United States. It's hypocritical for us not to, because obviously this stuff is going on to where people are being caught up in these situations.
I mean, hell, the senators and congressmen, they doing it.
Yeah. In the chambers. You know what I'm saying? So it's hypocritical that we're doing this. And it's obvious that, hey, I'm not for a woman getting her money. Get your money. You got $100,000 out of it. If you get $1 million out of it, whatever you're going to do. But like you said, the people in the hood, the regular people that can't get that big booty or whatever the deal is, they're going to do what they're going to do. But what I'm saying is, it would lessen the like you said, I don't understand why she had to put all this up on the internet after she got paid and the transaction was done. And this is where you get these For My Man episodes where the guy wants to kill her and she wants to kill him. It's just crazy, But a lot of it, to me, like in this situation, unfortunately, we're in a society today where it's harder to live, it's harder to work, it's harder to garner money, and women engage in the oldest profession in the world. And I'm not blaming them. It's called survival. You're doing what you got to do to survive. And this is where we're at today. And you got a young man that has a lot of money, obviously doesn't have respect for women. That's obvious. People say, what do you mean he doesn't have respect for women? When you're a multi-million-dollar man having that kind of money and you get caught up in situations like this with the IG sex worker, you don't have any respect for women, in my opinion. It's just obvious because people that are about their stuff, it's handled in a certain way, and you're doing what you do. Because like I said, if he had any respect for himself or knew how to handle his business, none of this would have ever gotten out. Simple as that.
And yeah, I see what you're saying with that. I think she's behaving as a scorned woman. I looked up the definition of scorn. I know what it is, but I just kind of want to get more context. It just basically says open dislike or disrespect or mockery, often mixed with indignation, an expression of contempt or derision. So it's like, but are you a scorned woman? How can you be scorned? I mean, and listen, y'all know I'm gonna keep it real. I'm trying to be as educational. This is for educational purposes, okay? You a hoe. How you don't know the rules of engagement being a hoe? You know what I'm saying? As I say this a lot. You might get some on you, just don't get it in you. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to be as educational as I can, as a whole. If anybody, you should know the rules. You know the rules of engagement. There's certain things you do and you do not do. But see, what it was you got a big ticket item on the line, and you thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna deviate from the rules of being a hoe. I'm gonna try to trip him up, say I'm pregnant, and I'm gonna let him hit it raw and all this other stuff, and it did. I shook the dice and it didn't come out. I didn't get the snake eyes. I got something else. But and the other thing, as far as him being disrespectful to her, yeah, I think more than anything, we should respect ourselves, right? Because if we respect ourselves, him too, you respect yourself, then you're going to tend to respect other people, right? Because if you truly respected yourself, you're not going, I don't care if you had $14 in the bank, you're not going to lay down with just anybody because it could be a whole lot of repercussions. And the other thing, and I'm not trying to give him a pass, but he's a 22-year-old. To me, he's a kid. He's a 22-year-old kid with all that money, probably his whole family together, generations on generations, probably have never seen the money he has seen in 1 year, all combined, right? So he's a 14-year-old kid soaring his oats, and I'm not saying it's right one way or the other, but that's what 22-year-old boys do. Is he a grown man chronologically? Yeah, but to me, he's still a boy. That's what they do. They go out there and they jackrabbits all over the place on anything they'll let them. And here come this thing. I don't know how they met, but she got a big giant booty. And he's like, okay, bet. Because I'm sure he ain't never been with a woman like that. And I showed y'all that video too, because I want to give y'all the context. See, that's what a lot of men throw their money after. A woman, and no shade. I mean, she all right looking, but she looked weird. Big giant booty, whatever. That's what a lot of men will gamble and risk it all for. An IG model with a big giant butt and nothing in her head. All the brains is in her booty. That's what you risk it for. I mean, looking at that woman, if I was a man, I'd be like, first of all, I couldn't take her too many other places because for one thing, she got 2 IG accounts. She's an IG model, and you seen her bend it over, break it open, all kind of stuff. I couldn't go introduce her to my mama, whatever the case is. But those are the type of women that a lot of men risk it on, but they don't want, old girl around the way who's a good woman. She ain't got all that going on, this, that, and the other. So, I mean, I just think, he knew the job was dangerous. Yeah, but she knew the job was dangerous. You a hoe. You should know the rules. That's your profession. That ain't his profession. His profession is how, he come to you. He the customer. How much for this? Oh, it's going to be this much. But you decided to break the rules of engagement, and now you took it to the internet as a scorned woman. You ain't scorned. How you scorned when you knew the rules? Scorned is, oh, I thought we was in love. And niggas like, you ain't scorned. You trying to play like you scorned, but you're not scorned. You scorned yourself because now you see he don't want to be with you, but he out there with somebody else, and it ain't you. And it's like, if you a hoe, and I'm trying not to get in trouble, but if you a hoe, you rarely get chosen. You might go out to dinner once or twice, but you ain't finna go to the dinner with his family. Listen, ladies, I'm gonna say this to you. Because Demetra Kaye ain't never been no hoe. Ain't gonna never be one man nowhere in this planet or the planets above. Okay, not one man is gonna ever tell you Not one man is ever gonna tell you that Demetra Kaye has ever been a hoe or anything close to it, but I know how hold'em works. Ladies, listen to me. Hoes rarely, they might get chosen temporarily. Okay, I know sometimes we think the hoes is winning, but they rarely make out in the end. Okay, because at the end of the day, men like to run around with hoes. They, that's cute and exciting, but at the end of the day, when they settle down, they want that good girl. They want the woman that was like, I, I, I wouldn't do it to you. Well, how could you? They want those women. Okay, so hoes they win temporarily, but the long game.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, they don't actually win at all. I mean, it's just the point. Think about it. I'm a man. I'm gonna have children with this woman, which is why I don't put myself in those positions to have children with these women, so that later on my kids are traumatized, my grandkids are traumatized because grandma is now 70-something years old, and we can see grandma busting it out and doing all that. That would be traumatic. I would be embarrassed. I would have to change my kids would have to change their names just to get away from that. And that's why I feel sorry for all these women that are doing sex work. Because right now, yeah, you're 33, you're on top of your game, your body, you're investing in your body and it's all shape. But guess what? Gravity always wins and time marches on. All these tattoos you got, there are going to be some ugly 70, 80-year-olds in about 20 or 30 years. Skin going to be all flabbed down or whatever. It's going to look horrible. But real quick, this story reminds you of another story almost in the same exact career field and everything. Remember Mr. Zion Williamson?
It's almost the same one, yeah.
Almost the same exact scenario. And then what did he end up doing? He got his other chick pregnant, who also was a sex worker, but he got her pregnant, and he's gonna have.
She was lying. She said she was, but she wasn't. She was scorned as well.
Yeah. No. Mariah Mills, who was a porno star, whatever, film stars, that's one thing. But remember, he ended up not engaging, but had a child reveal with his girlfriend, who also was.
And that's when Mariah got mad and tried to get him all up in trouble and stuff.
Right. But that woman also was a sex worker. She was a stripper and all this other stuff like that. Have OnlyFans, whatever it was. But what is going on with these young men that are attracted to these type of women? And if you look at, and I don't know the other man, but I know Zion Williamson, he wasn't necessarily raised with his father, in the home. You know what I'm saying? I know his father was around, but he wasn't raised in the home. So isn't it amazing how these young men, who are predominantly this newer generation, and especially in our community, that are raised in these female homes, they're so disrespectful to women? It's amazing to me, So, and then remember the football player. He plays for the Buffalo Bills now. There's a chick that he has. I think he has 2 or 3 children with her. Megan Denise. She has like freckles and stuff, real nice, whatever. And he keeps putting babies in this woman. This baby she keeps taking him to child support or whatever the deal is, and it's an off and on relationship. What is going on with these men that are picking these women that are sex workers and hurting their brand? If you're a professional athlete, nobody wants to see you with the stripper model. They want to see you with, like you said, the regular girl around the way. A best example of a woman you should get, and I think she is sexy. I think she's beautiful. I think she's classy. LeBron James' wife, and I don't even like LeBron James, but his wife. That's how you do it right there.
Yeah, and they've been together since, high school, sound like. So, but LeBron is, regardless of what you think about LeBron or whatever, he knew how to settle down to a good choice. It's stupid to, like you said, to keep putting your seed here and there. And even if you ain't LeBron, you a regular old man. Why are you planting your seed everywhere? Settle down to a good choice, and make a life with that woman. But the more women you impregnate, the more money going out the door. And it's just like, I don't know why anybody, man or woman, would sign up for a life of misery. That sounds like a life of misery to have all that going on. You know what I mean? And as far as why men of that caliber spread their seed like that, because money don't buy you self-respect. Money don't give you knowledge of self. Money don't put a value on you. Money is just something you have that gives you net worth, right? But it doesn't give you self-worth. And so they're not taught that. They're taught the core. Me having all these M's in the bank means that I am somebody. but you should be somebody if you got sense in the bank. You know what I'm saying? So we need to stop trying to draw the correlation. I'm not saying you did that, but that's why they do these things. It's because they think money makes me worthy. No, it don't. Because all of them sometimes makes you as a dummy with money. You got to be a dummy with money if you roll around having sex unprotected with all these women and they hitting you over the head in child support court for all this money, and then you ain't smart enough. Because one thing a lesson is supposed to do is also buy you some sense. So you bought the first lesson, and then you went and kept on buying other lessons. And now you're broke. You got all, I mean, we hear about it all the time. All these athletes who had all this money, but they got it all tied up with 15, 11 women, you know, and all these cheering. And then they bitter and mad because I got to pay child support. It's like, but you didn't have to pay that if you would have said, no, lady, I don't like you. I don't want to spend no, 18 to 22 years. And again, that's not just for the men with some money. That's for the everyday man that's running around working in the warehouse, driving a truck or whatever. Y'all, and I know y'all put that on women. Yeah, as women, we make the choice whether life come into this world, but we can't make that choice without you. So y'all men, and I know y'all, a lot of times y'all can't control yourself. You see a big old giant booty and then wham, and then you crying. I'm a chick. I don't even know why I go to work no more because they taking your money, But you had a choice in the matter. You could have said, as bad as I want to treat you like a trampoline, I ain't gonna do it. Because I know that little 2 minutes of fun I'm about to give you, gal, it ain't going to be worth the 18 to 22 years I'm going to have to do with you.
Well, and real quick, and it's kind of funny that this thing has come up, and I just came from a place where where this kind of scenario goes on. It goes on in the DR, and I'm not like trying to down the DR. I love Dominica, whatever the deal is, but I go down there and I watch young men who are average guys. They're in Fantasy Island. They're on Fantasy Island. And they're talking to women that wouldn't give them the time of day here in the United States. And they could be with that girl. And they're spending all their money and all this other stuff. And, me being an older guy, they would come to me and be like, hey, man, all we can do. And I'm just watching these fools just within a couple of days go completely broke. As a matter of fact, Demetra, I think I sent you a video of me at the airport talking about send a cash app or something like that. Yep, yeah. I'm broke. I'm stuck in the DR. I don't have any more money. And seriously, even though that is funny, that actually happens down there. I was at the airport getting ready to come back home, and a brother, his flight got canceled, whatever. And he actually had to stay at the airport because he had no money for a hotel or anything else because he had just spent all his money on the women and all that other stuff, and just basically, no thought of, what could happen. You gave that girl your number. You gave it, just what is wrong with these young men, these new young men? It's just crazy. It's like they've never been around beautiful women, or they can't control themselves. Because I'm going to say this for me. Yeah, I'm down there doing my thing, but I have a regular girl down there, so I don't really worry about it. But yeah, I'm down there, and the women are coming up to you, and they look good, and they want to give you their number or whatever. Sorry, fellas. Sorry. I'm not going broke. Yeah, she looks good, whatever, but guess what? I'm not going broke. I'll spend my money on my girl, and that's it, and be done with it. Like you said, settle down to a good choice, or have somebody there that you just content with. Because in a place like Fantasy Island, as bad as this chick is, within a couple of minutes, there'll be a younger, badder chick that keeps coming on and keeps coming on. And if you're one of those guys, it ain't gonna work for you. And this is the generation that they have no control. Nobody's teaching them the game.
Well, and I was gonna say too, I agree with you, Donovan. But these sap suckers over here, and I do mean that with love. Y'all going broke for the women over here too. I hear it all the time, man. You ain't got it like that, but you spending money you ain't got. You spending money you ain't got, trying to run behind a woman or whatever the case is, but it's universal actually. And I get it. Love make you do some things. Or is it love, or is a big giant booty? You know what I'm saying? Make you do some things you wouldn't ordinarily do. But I always say all the time, I ain't never going broke for no man. I don't care who he is. Okay. I don't mind helping people, but I damn sure I'm not going to go broke for no man. I ain't going to give no man nothing I need. I ain't going to give no woman nothing I need. I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? But a lot of times you men, y'all don't, this up here completely is off. Gone for vacation, be back later. And then this one down here get to doing all the thinking. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess that's kind of the way it is. As my father always saying, no romance without the finance. But shit, if you ain't got the finance, it shouldn't be no romance. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. When I was down there, I saw these young girls that I thought were like 13 and 14. And I come out of the restaurant, and I'm seeing the girl, and I was so appalled at what I was seeing that I'm thinking, okay, this girl's underage. So I go over there and I said, let me see your ID. The girl was 19 years old, but she didn't look it. But what appalled me was the fact that you had grown, and I'm going to say it, American men that were targeting that girl and getting her number. I was just like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But she was 19 or whatever she was doing, whatever. But the mere fact that she looked like a child to me, I would never. I was like, what is going on with our people?
But to some, I'm not all, but some men, that's the draw, because she does look like she's underage. And I know somebody gonna get mad, but I mean, we grown. We don't got to lie to kick it. There's a lot of men. I don't say there's some men who are into that very pubescent look, where she looks underage, and all of that. They like that, which I agree to. It's very strange. They need to get their understanding rearranged as to why they think that's attractive. But yeah, I just think, regardless of who you are, man or woman, be wise in the situation, or who you lie down with. And I could tell y'all this about me. I have not always been in good relationships, but I've never been one of those people, and I just never have. Ask anybody know me, just be laying down with anybody, because I'm weird like that anyway. First of all, I'm not gonna get in the bed with nobody. I don't even know your hygiene habits good.
Wait a minute. Stop. I'm going to tell this a public service announcement. If you get with Demetra, be ready for 2 hours of waiting. Let's say you're ready to jump in the bed. You'll be asleep by the time she's ready.
Guess what though? It'll be clean, boo-boo. It'll be clean. It's gonna smell nice. I put some of my good expensive stuff on for you, Psh, psh. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get in the bed with me talking about, baby, you made fish today. Hey, are we having cushion mashed potatoes mixed with kush?
Right. Are we having a tofunet?
Yeah, no, you ain't gonna never have. You're not gonna worry about that with me. And I'm telling y'all, man, y'all should be concerned with the women's hygiene practices. Woman come in from the whatever, and she been running around all day, and they want to hop in the bed with you. That should make you raise an eyebrow. Like, I know damn well it ain't gonna be fresh. You know what I mean? So yeah, y'all call me weird all you want to. I'm just one of those people. And Donovan, no, we've been on vacation long enough to know that Demetra is not taking no cat baths. I'm not getting in there 5 minutes and jumping out. No, I'm not. I try to get up extra early so I don't hold up the process. It's just me. Any man I've ever been with, but like, damn, how much longer you gonna be? You know what I mean?
If you're in a foreign country and like you have like a water tank, make Demetra go last.
I'm just saying, my daughter every day she'll say, "Okay, well, if we gonna go somewhere, hurry up and go in, because I know it's gonna take you all day." I'm like, it's not gonna take me all day. Yes, it is gonna take you all day. So my daughter literally do everything she got to do around the house, and I'm still getting ready. All right, I'm ready. Whatever. Okay, I'm out the shower. That lets her know. All right, you get in the shower, because by the time you get out and get ready, I'll be close. I'll be close. And listen, it ain't even nothing about my hair, nothing. It don't take me long to do this. I ain't really do nothing to my hair today, but I got to do different face soap, body soap, and my shower is about 15 minutes long. I got to make sure I'm clean. Then I got different lotions and oils. I never use lotion. Oils for my face, my body.
Demetra has a whole luggage bag full of her hygiene and beauty stuff. It's a whole different bag.
It's a regiment. It's a lifestyle. But this ain't something I do. I take a shower and get ready every day, like some people do when they going somewhere special. You're like, today I'm gonna take an extra 2 minutes in the shower because I'm going out. So I do that every day. So forgive me, but like I said, you ain't gotta worry about being one of those funk ass woman. Okay, you ain't gonna get in the bed with me and my hair smell like I've been smoking kush, and I a funky weave, and I wash my hair once a week. Okay, and once a week I wash my hair once a week.
And that's because you wear your natural hair. That's why.
Yeah, but it's a whole regimen. Like I try to tell the young ladies back in my grandmama day and my mama day, they had a day of the week, and I have one forever. Where this day, I don't really necessarily go anywhere. I spend time washing my hair, exfoliating. I do nails and all of that. This today is me day, right? And so that way, the rest of the week, I could go and take a 20-minute shower and I, and do all the other stuff I would do. But I've taken that day to where I've gotten myself together. Women don't really necessarily do all that no more. Like back then, that's what you do. Remember, what was that? It was she's a star back in the 40s and 50s. She says,
Josephine Baker?
huh?
Josephine Baker?
No, I think it was she's a white lady. Mae West. I think it was
Mae
Mae
West.
West.
Yeah, Mae West. Yeah. She loved the brothers. But go ahead.
She says, I'd kiss you, but I just washed my hair. I think it was her. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, I just took all this time to get me so fresh and so clean. I can't kiss you just yet. You know what I mean? Which is why, because y'all know I used to have a cosmetology license. And I would do hair. Then I would get upset when I see the woman. And the smoke going all up in her hair. And it's like, damn, you didn't want your hair to smell fresh and clean for like a couple hours. Now it just smells like cigarettes. You know what I mean?
No, and now men, we have to deal with women. Let's say just the average woman, because like I said, you have, my aunt's a beautician, and so a real good weed is going to cost you what, Demetra, about $400 something. That just a really good weed.
Probably nowadays, yeah,
$400 something. But let's talk about the average girl. The average girl has this weave on, and she don't wash it. It's like me having this hat, even though I'm bald headed.
Weed and cigarettes.
Yeah. Yeah, even though I'm bald headed, I'm still sweating under this cap. Ladies, you don't think men smell that when we get close to you or we're trying to kiss you? We're smelling that stuff, and it's just
some of those men don't care. Because I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. Y'all get mad at me if you want to, but a lot of men nowadays don't know what a fresh, clean smelling woman's supposed to smell like. They think she's supposed to smell like she was frying chicken and fish all in the same grease and weed all up and through her hair, and they think that's normal. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't normal. Every time I go outside this house, I smell 5-10 people that just don't like. You take a bath today, this week. How about this month?
Or you jump in their car and the car is just stenched with cannabis. The cannabis smell. And it's like funky, and you're just like, you invited me into this car smelling like this?
Oh, but it gets better, boo-boo. Not only she gonna invite you into that car, she gonna invite you into her, and you gonna willingly go. So if the car smell like that, and she been, what you think going on in her orifices? But that's and the man too. As Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in his series, How to Give Birth to a God, I keep telling y'all to watch that. He tells women to be cognizant of who you allow to, go up in and release the seeds, because everything about that man, his mentality, the things he eat, the things he smokes, and all that other stuff, that's also going inside of you. Same thing for a man. You put your member inside of a woman who's got all that going on, what you think you inculcating into yourself. And let's keep it a buck. I ain't trying to be dirty. Not only you inserting yourself in there, but you putting your mouth down there. So y'all be grateful for a woman who take an hour shower and who is cognizant of the food that she eats. Because what you eat also comes out. I'm just saying, you'll be glad that you ain't with a woman that's eating fried chicken every day. She eating some fresh fruits and vegetables.
Well, I don't know. If it's Winco, I'm with it.
You with it? Bring the hot sauce. All right. Anyway, y'all, we're going to get out of here. This video won't not, you guys will probably see it after our live show because it is 3:00 and I have to upload it and all that other stuff, but we'll be back live. Donovan, what you want to talk about? You want to talk about more relationship stuff or something trending, or you want to talk about politics?
Let's talk about more relationship stuff in regards to that, because I think we don't talk about that enough, because like I said, a lot of young men have a false idea of relationships, and it's not true. So.
All right. Well, we'll talk about. I'll find something that's trending. If you find something before me, hit me up. But I'll see you in a little bit. But thank you guys. Of course, we have ways to help the channel if you so see fit to do so. But we are back in the saddle. And Donovan is not leaving for another 6 weeks. He going back to his second home in 6 weeks.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, only for Super Bowl. I'm just there for the Super Bowl.
My delegation says otherwise. My ladies on the prowl says otherwise. They said that's a lie. But anyway, we'll be back. We love you guys. Well, you guys will see this after our live show, but we'll see y'all tomorrow, Wednesday with Wealth Wednesday with Walter. So in the meantime, you guys stay tuned. Peace.